Oscar weekends is upon us, which means there is a lot of festivities going on. There's a lot of predictions, but you know what? There's also one new thing that you can do that has been introduced these past few years. I think it's a lot of fun, and that is betting. Betting on the Oscars, the favorites, what's to win, how to make money off of it. Listen, if you're someone like me who loves sports, you're already familiar with sports betting. This is like that for the Oscars, and I'm going to have some fun today. So I decided to look at the Fanduel Sportsbook. That's the website I will be using. And I wanted to see the odds on favorites to win, what odds seem off, each category, if there was an upset, which one might be worth putting money. I should note I'm in California, so I actually am unable to bet on any of these awards. So just that disclaimer right here. But I will be saying if I had $50 and if I somehow sent that to somebody to make a bet for me, this is what I would be doing. And he would be my Sherlocks. Here would be the ones I would be personally taking the bet on. And then here are also just all the categories going through it. So let's share this FanDuel page real quick. So again, this is courtesy of sportsbook.fanduel.com. Must be 21 or over to gamble. Only legal in a few states. Not getting paid by them, so I'm not going to list which states. Doesn't matter. So let's go through these categories, starting off with best visual effects. Avatar: The Way of Water, Top Gun: Maverick, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, All Quiet on the Western Front, and The Batman. To be honest, it's the Avatar: The Way of Water. I would not take any other bet than that. If you had to bet anyone else, it's Top Gun: Maverick. But again, I would I would stick with the Avatar: The Way of Water and assume that's winning, and that's minus 2,000 odds. So you're not going to get great odds for that. Let's do best sound now. Top Gun: Maverick, All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, Elvis, The Batman. Here's an interesting category. Here's where I would make a bet. The Academy always does like a few things. They like music and they like war films to win these technical categories. Top Gun Maverick, as great as it is, I don't think of the sound in that movie. Not say that I don't think it's an undeserving nomination. I don't instantly think of it. All Quiet, I think of the sound. And Elvis in particular, that's a musical that is so reliant on sound. Boz Lerman has always done really good on this. This plus 2,300, I'd be interested in that. I'd tell you right now, I'm not saying this is a safe bet. None of these bets are surefire things. None of these are safe. But if you wanted to bet on the Oscars and have fun with it, and you're just like, what's a category where I feel like I have really great odds that they're not giving it to it? All the precursors are saying that's going to be Top Gun Maverick, All Quiet on the Western Front for plus 360. That's fairly good value for your money. Plus 2,300 for Elvis. I would really consider taking that bet if I was you. Best original song. Oh, I have a few thoughts on this one. Nachu Nachu from RRR, Lift Me Up, Rihanna, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Hold My Hand, Top Gun Maverick, Lady Gaga, Applause, Tell It Like a Woman, Diane Warren, and This Is a Life, Everything Everywhere All at Once, David Byrne. Here's the thing. Nachu Nachu is the favorite right now. I don't buy it. There is no precursors for this award that I'm aware of. Obviously, there's the Grammys, but that has actually come post the Oscars. Everyone is saying Nacho Nacho is going to run away with it at minus 500 odds. I think Lift Me Up is going to win tomorrow. Plus 470. Here's two good reasons. One, Rihanna. Rihanna just performed at the Super Bowl show. She's a huge star. She will be performing at this Oscar ceremony. That's enough to, I think the Super Bowl push is going to be big. Plus, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is a film that for sure Oscar voters saw because they may or may not be nominating or sorry, giving the win to Angela Bassett. That's a safer bet than Nacho Nacho. I know Nacho Nacho is personally the favorite to win. I like that song. I actually do think Lift Me Up is a better song. At plus 470, with all the emotions of Black Panther Wakanda Forever, how much that symbolizes for Chadwick Boseman, how big of a figure Rihanna is in pop culture right now. These awards, best song always seems like a surefront fire thing. Last year was supposed to be We Don't Talk About Bruno. Billie Eilish comes in, the star comes in and grabs these awards. Sam Smith did the same thing for his James Bond. Plus 470, I'd feel pretty good about those Black Panther odds. I would be betting on that one if you had the option to bet. Best original screenplay. Everything Everywhere All at Once at minus 190 is the favorite. Banshees of Inisherin, Fablemans at plus 2300, Tar at plus 2300, Triangle of Sadness for plus 3400. Actually, all of these have a good case to them. The one I am going to be making an argument for at really good odds is the Fablemans. I believe the only precursor that Spielberg has won for this is the Golden Globes, which don't really matter, but at plus 2300 odds, you have Spielberg, you have Tony Kushner, you have a well nominated film. That seems possible for sure at plus 2300 if you believed in the Fablemans. As I do, I don't think those are bad odds at all to get the Fablemans at. Banshees of Inisherin at plus 145. It's again, it's between Everything Everywhere All at Once and Banshees seemingly. Uh, Interestingly enough, one thing to note, if I'm correct, the Banshees of Inisherin was not eligible for the WGA, the Writers Guild Association. So plus 145 might be a little low considering it did not get the chance to compete with Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is the favorite to win it. But here's what you're betting on. And a lot of these bets are going to be the same thing. You are either betting on Everything Everywhere All at Once to succeed, or you are betting for it to not play as heavily as it is. Is it going to dominate or is it not? If you are betting that it's not going to dominate, taking something like Banshees of Inisherin for plus 145 or even Fablemans for plus 2,300, both interesting prospects. Best original score, we have Babylon as the favorite at minus 150, All Quiet on the Western Front, The Fablemans, Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I personally, I do believe Babylon is going to win. This All Quiet on the Western Front, I didn't particularly, I thought the score was a little bit out of time with the movie. It didn't really work for me. So I personally, if I had the vote, I would not be voting for it. But at plus 145, I just don't see the real upside in taking this vote either way, or taking this bet either way, Babylon or All Quiet. And I just don't believe the other three are contenders. So I'd probably stick away completely from a best original score. Best international feature film. uh, Everything that is not All Quiet on the Western Front, I would stick completely away from. I've heard good things about EO in Argentina in 1985, but sight unseen, and with how dominant All Quiet on the Western Front has been this season, and the fact that it's even a possibility at an upset for Best Picture, I think you should stay away from this category as well and just assume All Quiet on the Western Front is going to win it. Going over to the next category, Best Film Editing. Everything Everywhere All at Once is the favorite at minus 240. Top Gun Maverick at 185. Banshees for 1900. Elvis for 2900. And Tar for 3400. Again, all precursors are saying Everything Everywhere All at Once is going to win it. And if I am correct, film editing usually doesn't always line up with Best Picture, but they're almost always up in the top front runners. So, and I think that's pretty clear. I think four out of these fives legitimately have a chance to hear their names called from it. I don't think Tar has a chance to win Best Picture, but Elvis at plus 2,900 intrigues me. If film editing has sometimes gone to the film with the most editing, as was in the case of Bohemian Rhapsody, this is a really finicky award. Again, if you're not betting the sweep on Everything Everywhere All at Once, Top Gun Maverick at plus 185 makes a lot of logical sense. If you really want to bet big and hope that you go big, Elvis at plus 2,900 is some big payout, and I would be intrigued by that bet for sure. Best documentary feature. Again, I don't really know how to speak on this because I've only seen three of these films or two of these films. Best documentary feature. The favorite right now is Navalny at minus 250. Fire of Love for plus 370. All the Beauty and the Bloodshed 650. All That Breathes, A House Made of Splinters. I don't feel particularly comfortable in betting in a category where I haven't even been able to judge the contest for myself. Here's what I will say. Navalny seems to be the favorite. I expect it to win. If there was anything that really was competing it, I do agree with the Vegas odds that Fire of Love at plus 370 would be your best bet. I just think, again, it's one of these things where the story of Navalny just sounds too important. I don't see it getting closed out, but documentary is weird. Documentary always is known for their weird stuff. A few years ago, they did not nominate the film Won't You Be My Neighbor or Three Strangers, both films that people thought could easily win the award. That year, it ends up going to Free Solo. So, Fire of Love at plus 370, not a bad bet. Just to basically, if you're betting like something weird's going to happen at the Oscars, there's not going to be clear cut winners in each of these categories. Some of these favorites, like Navalny, aren't going to win it, and documentary is always one for a good upset. Taking Fire of Love at plus 370 is probably a safe, but possibly a good bet. Best cinematography, this one's a weird category. All Quiet on the Western Front is minus 340. Elvis is 340. Empire of Light is 1300. Tar and Bardo, Falls Chronicles of a Handful of Troops. Now, personally, I'd actually give the vote to Bardo, but this isn't a personal ballot. This is betting. So for best cinematography, All Quiet on the Western Front, it is a war film. It is very spectacle based. That is probably, by all accounts, the film to beat. I don't really feel good about any of these. I actually think Elvis has a lot of cinematography and has a lot of style that I could see it going there. But again, I would probably stick with the consensus and assume All Quiet on the Western Front is winning at minus 340. So I would not take that bet personally. Best animated feature, you have Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, the heavy favorite at minus 2,000. Marcel the Shell with Shoes on at plus 1,300. Puss in Boots, The Last Wish is 1,800. Turning Red, 2,300. And the Sea Beast at 3,400. Wouldn't take any of these bets. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is going to win it. If for some reason you did, the only one that I would be even slightly intrigued in, I think Puss in Boots should be 2 at 1,300, not at 1,800. So maybe if you were so inclined to do it, best animated feature, Puss in Boots at 1,800 is semi-interesting. Best adapted screenplay, Women Talking is the favorite at minus 250. All Quiet on the Western Front, Glass Onion, Top Gun Maverick at 2,800, and Living 3,400. It's This race really does feel like it's a two horse race. Women Talking or All Quiet on the Western Front. I don't have a particular favorite in either of these. I would say Women Talking is the better screenplay. Sarah Polley is the more famous actor slash writer slash director. I think they're going to want to reward this film in some way. So I would probably say the safe bet is assuming Women Talking as minus 250. And for such a low favorite of 180, or not favorite, but at plus 180, I just don't think the payout's great enough to take this and put, like, let's say even $10. I would just put your bet somewhere else. So that's my thoughts on best adapted screenplay. Best director, we get a little bit more interesting. Again, this is the everything everywhere all at once conundrum. Are you voting for this film to sweep, or are you in the belief that maybe the Academy will not vote something as weird, as crazy as this? Best director could be one of those categories where you could get some really good odds on stuff. Currently, the favorite is Daniel Kwan and Daniel Schneider for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Mispronounced that name. I do apologize. They are the heavy favorites at minus 1,800. Spielberg is next at Fablemans for 850. Todd Field, 2,900. Martin McDonough and Ruben Östlund rounding out that list. The only three names I really see in contention are Spielberg, Field, and the Daniels. I would feel if this award did not go to Everything Everywhere All at Once, I would guess it's going to Spielberg for the Fablemans. It's a hard one for me to say that that bet is going to be in your favor. If you really wanted to go risky and go out there, Todd Field for Tar, I think, is a sleeper contention, and there's a lot of respect and admiration. And with the belief of what Best Actress might be going with, if you wanted to buy into this belief that the Academy is going to spread the love as they sometimes do, Todd Field Tar is at 2,900 plus 2,900. Not a bad bet to take. Personally, I probably would stick away from Best Director, although the Spielberg element intrigues me. But again, I already said I think there is a chance Spielberg could win for Best Writer. I think that's probably a safer bet in the original screenplay. So again, I'd probably stick away from this. This next category, you could do anything you want, and I wouldn't be able to blame you. Best Supporting Actress, Jamie Lee Curtis. None of these, notice there is no negative. This is all upside in theory. Jamie Lee Curtis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Angela Bassett, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Carrie Condon, The Banshees of Inisherin, Hong Chow, The Whale, and Stephanie Sue, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I don't know who's going to win this award, and I'll be doing an official bracket breakdown of my own predictions and who putting in pen. These are my favorites to win. Right now, I am going with the theory. I think that the only name I'm taking out of here is Hong Chao. The other four have a legitimate case to make. And I'll make it real quick, but I'll break it down in my later video in better detail. Jamie Lee Curtis is the favorite, but I think Stephanie Sue is better than her in Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think she plays the more important role. So that could almost do that. Plus, there's a cross out factor. Who votes where? Is everyone going to show support for one performance in Everything Everywhere All at Once, or are they going to split the votes? So that could possibly cancel out both Jamie Lee Curtis, Stephanie Sue, or give them one of the favorites. Wakanda Forever, I think there's this narrative that has been going around that Angela Bassett would get the first Oscar win for an NCU film. I don't think the Academy is quite there yet. I don't know if they feel good about that. They haven't been giving her as many of the awards since Carrie Condon won the BAFTA award at plus 210. Not bad at all. Hong Chao, like I said, I just don't see any logical sense. The odds that intrigue me the most would be Stephanie Sue, just because it's such a good favorite for you if you won. Plus 3,400 would be a huge payout. So that's the one that where I see it and I'm like, that's intriguing to me. Again, I don't necessarily know if I could suggest taking that bet, but that's a good one. If you were just like, you know what, I really like Everything Everywhere All at Once. I do not believe Jamie Lee Curtis is definitively the better performance of the two because she's not. Stephanie Sue is the better performance. So if you wanted to go one more passionate with your heart thinking, Stephanie Sue at 3,400 is not a bad one to take at all. Best supporting actor, you'd be dumb to do anything but Kiwi Kwan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. None of these other ones are even worth talking about in any value. Best actress, little interesting. Michelle Yeoh, Everything Everywhere All at Once, has become the favorite with minus 210. Kate Blanchett for Tar, Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie, Michelle Williams for The Fablemans, Ana de Armas for Blonde at plus 8,000. Do not take the Ana de Armas bet in this. It's really between these top two, Michelle Yeoh or Kate Blanchett. At these odds of minus 210 or plus 145, don't like either of them in any particular way. So I wouldn't bet on this category at all. I would steer away from this because I do think Blanchett has a chance to win, but at plus 145, I just don't see great odds in that. And Michelle Yeoh is probably the favorite at this moment. And yeah, so I just avoid this category completely. Best actor, more intriguing. Brendan Fraser, The Whale, at minus 160 is the favorite. Austin Butler, plus 130 for Elvis. Colin Farrell, Banshees of Inisherin, plus 1,100. Paul Mescal, After Sun, and Bill Nighy, Living, plus 8,000. It's these top three, Fraser, Butler, Farrell. The only odds that intrigue me, because again, we're now in this case where this race really is down between Fraser and Butler. But if for some reason you did want to just believe that Banshees could still win it and Colin Farrell will get recognized for this performance, taking him at plus 1,100 is definitely not bad odds at all. Those are actually pretty favorable for you. So if you have this really huge inclination that he could win this at plus 1,100, I know Bill Simmons was talking about this on his podcast. This was the bet that most intrigued him. I don't think that's a bad bet at all to take if you had that inclination. Now, personally, I would not because I do believe it's between Fraser and Butler. So I think you could be losing quite a bit of money in this. But if you wanted to go all out on a category and just say could be a huge reward, Colin Farrell at Banshees of Inisherin at the very least has a good case to make. So that's interesting. And then finally, Best Picture, Everything Everywhere All at Once is the odds-on favorite at minus 1,200. Banshees of Inisherin is plus 1,800. All Quiet on the Western Front is plus 1,800. Top Gun Maverick is plus 2,900. The Fablemans is plus 4,200. Tar is plus 6,500. Elvis plus 8,000. Women Talking, Avatar, The Way of Water, and Triangle of Sadness, all plus 10,000. Here's the thing again, and it's the same thing I've been pounding all day. If you do not believe Everything Everywhere All at Once is the front runner, then maybe you should take your chance at the field. I do not believe Fanduel or any of the other sites allow you to bet on the field. If you're in Vegas, I do believe you get the option, So if you can find that, I would think betting on the field is not that bad of a choice because, again, Everything Everywhere All at Once would be the weirdest Best Picture win of all time. Just for the genre that it plays in, the sci-fi aspect of it, everything about it, it does seem like a peculiar win for the Academy's history. Not saying that it won't win, because I do think it is the favorite to win it right now, but it seems crazy that the Academy will fully embrace this and give it the love affair that it is implying right now. Banshees of Inisherin at plus 1800. Here's the one that intrigues me the most. All Quiet on the Western Front at plus 1800. Now, I would think it's a travesty if All Quiet on the Western Front won. However, at plus 1800, those are not bad odds at all to take. Same with Top Gun Maverick plus 2900. Everything below it, I don't really see a case for. I don't think Fablemans is, I think it's fallen completely out of the race. I think Tar is completely out of the race. Elvis at plus 8,000, if you were so inclined to believe that Elvis is, which is a very conventional Oscar winning type film, then that's not a bad bet at all to take at plus 8,000. That's a huge payout. It is the big risk, big reward. But if you were to bet big on this, you could really potentially win big on this. I don't think it's a good bet at all. But at plus 8,000, again, this is one of those ones where you could just do $10 and you could come out big with that bet. So maybe you're intrigued by it. Women talking Avatar: The Way of Water, I don't really see any way. Triangle, same thing. Triangle might be that hard one to bet for me because I so strongly dislike this film over the other ones. Personally, if I had to make a bet here, I would go with my heart. This is the one where I would listen to myself and just say Top Gun Maverick. It makes no logical sense. This would be me saying it's the same thing as when I vote for De'Aaron Fox to score a certain amount of points in the NBA. That's my guy. I'm riding with him, ride or die. 2,900. I like that. I put in $10. I get $290. I like that. All Quiet on the Western Front, though, is probably the more logical choice to make in this at plus 1,800. There is definitely some suggestion of it. I know Deadline predicted it to win. While I don't see it really being possible, here are some cases that could propel it to win the Best Picture. There is a preferential ballot. Does All Quiet on the Western Front get a lot of 2 and 3, where Everything Everywhere All at Once might get a lot of ones, but it also might get a ton of tens? It doesn't feel like All Quiet on the Western Front is going to get a lot of tens. It might average out at the fives. All Quiet on the Western Front is also going to have a lot of below the line support, which means, cameramen, cinematographers, sound, all that. They all get a vote in Best Picture. And this is a ranking. So again, they could have films like All Quiet on the Western Front. They could have this in their top 4. Same with Top Gun Maverick, where Everything Everywhere at All at Once, they might have it pretty high up there because there's also some really incredible special effects and design to it. But they could also go lower in some categories. Again, older voters are probably not going to be voting Everything Everywhere All at Once in droves as much as younger voters are. So that is something to keep in mind. So All Quiet at the Western Front at plus 1,800. Don't hate those odds at all. With that all said, that's my Oscar betting predictions. If you liked any of those odds, if you agree with me, let me know. Let me know if you're going to make some Oscar bets this week. I am going to be having a lot of fun with this weekend, with it being the Academy Awards. I will be doing a live stream of the ceremony tomorrow on this channel, The Beniverse. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more. My name is Ben Friedman here from The Beniverse. Thank you all for watching. Take care and bye-bye.